So folks, time for another video. This one is basically a review or analysis about the Corey Holcomb 5150 show. Yesterday he had on Anton Daniels, and just listening to Anton Daniels sound, I heard things about him, and prior to all that, I seen a couple pieces of his videos, but my mind kind of automatically shut down once I figure out a person, what their angle is, man. Somebody who pretty much a Sambo, like the same thing with a Drewski, man. I checked out his stuff. People say he's a big time YouTuber. Let me check out this Drewski. And him and Anton Daniels, they got a similar thing, but a Drewski, he just shuts down white supremacist talk. Anytime you mention something about white supremacy, he shuts it down. I suspect him of being a non-FBA, even though, his birthplace in the U.S., same thing with Anton Daniels. I suspect him of being non-FBA, man. But Anton Daniels, he may actually be FBA. His attitude about things reminds me of my mom's side of the family out here in Detroit, man. They got that, I guess, they figured because, their parents was, had a decent factory job back when factory jobs was paying a lot, where you can support a family of four at the least, bought homes with that money and all that stuff. So that's pretty much established. We coming from California, my mom struggled, so she came back here thinking her family here was going to be helpful, but they wasn't. She would stayed out there with my dad's side of the family. But yeah, Anton Daniels, he was just doing a lot of what they call it rage baiting Corey. They almost got into it. I don't agree with some of the things Corey say, but I agree with more things that he say versus an Anton Daniels, man. Like, you got a lot of black folks still like an Anton Daniels, who like to hang things on Christianity. My religion is Christian based, but I went above and beyond that, man. You gotta ask questions, man. You can't just read the Bible, some kind of mindless drone, man. You gotta understand the translations, things was lost and altered. But you gotta have wisdom to put the pieces back together when you read it, man. But the thing about Anton Daniels, man, anything that deals with combating white supremacy, he shuts it down and he makes excuses for it. And it goes back to what Neely Fuller Jr. talks about. He said most black people see white supremacy, man. We see it all around us, but we're numb to it because we've been born into the system, man. It's like a prison, a systemic global prison, man, where all the white people are kind of like in on it. And it's like, you could say it's a conspiracy and all that, but not really, man. It's like they got a head start. They enslaved our ancestors, put around the world, man. People like to talk about the North Central Islanders, man. They're in a prison. They're on that island. They can shoot down anybody that come around. Vice really just drop a bomb on them and just wipe them off the face of the earth. They would never see it coming. They don't know what an atomic bomb is or some kind of biological weapon. You wouldn't even have to use a bomb. You can use chicken pox and measles to wipe their asses out. We immune to the shit with the vaccines they came up with. They just wipe them out with disease and come over there and just take that little island of there. But they let them stay over there because it's basically a prison. But that's the thing, man. If you're born into a prison, what you know you're in a prison. You would know you was receiving injustice by making the correlations between white and black. Well, this white person's treated better than me. They mortal like me. Why are they being treated better? This is unjust. we'll figure it out, but it's like we're numb to it, man. We only see the racism when it hits close to home. But it's all around us, man. It's like white society had a head start, man. You know, they kept us intentionally ignorant, literally, making it against the law for us to read in the U.S. soil. I don't know, you know, over there in Africa, you know, did they really stop them from reading? You know, did they have any language of their own to really transfer? The language didn't, you know, it didn't help them out in tribal languages. You know, English was against the law. You know, what the white massa cared of black people learn Swahili? Maybe. Popping and clicking. I don't know. I doubt it. English. It seemed like English they really want us to know. English or French, you know, European languages pretty much. But yeah, you know, you got Anton Daniels. You know, he don't want to talk about white supremacy. He want to think he made it in life on his own. You know, that's not really how it works, man. This system, as black people, we can move through it. But we're always bombarded by gatekeepers at certain levels. The average white person, the common white person, they have way fewer gatekeepers preventing them from elevating. You know, so you got Anton Daniels. He have made white supremacist views his own. You know, he calls himself a Republican. He says that most black people was Republican. Well, you know, wasn't that like the only party back in the day, really? Really, we was conservative in our views. We had old-fashioned views, man, based on the Christian Bible that we was given. There's nothing wrong with those views because they can preserve your life. A lot of them, biblical views can preserve a society, man. If upheld, what works should be used, right? But you can't make excuses for white society. And as black people, man, when we hear white supremacy, we got to understand that's the truth of the system we're in, man. It's not like, you know, we think of a grand conspiracy, man. It's really like a union. Think of white supremacy like a global union of white people, and whitish people who they let in as gatekeepers, man. It's like they help their own more than non-whites, and especially black people, and especially foundational black Americans. They don't help. They bring us last. But every now and then we'll come across helpful white people. That's how we deal with white supremacy. We don't carry no hatred banner. You can, but it's hard to keep those emotions in check. That's why when I used to listen to Neely Fuller Jr., you know, sometimes you got to fall back from that truth, because you'll find yourself kind of revering white people, man. You can't look at it like that. That's why you need to hit the truth from different angles. You know, you get some Dr. Claude Anderson facts in you, some Dr. Francis Cress Welsing facts in you. It well rounds our understanding of white supremacy. Now you come to the conclusion, well, I've come to the conclusion that we deal with white people on an individual basis. Even though Mr. Neely Fuller says that, but you just, sometimes the way people say things, you're kind of like, oh, is he worshiping white people? No, you got to put facts together on your own. You know, you start figuring out that black people, black Americans and all that do invent things. Just when we invent things, we're usually working under white corporations. So our intellectual property becomes theirs. So we'll never know this stuff. It ain't like they gonna say, oh, this black man in our white company did this, or this black woman in our white company did this. No, they're gonna attribute it to who's the head of that department or research or whatever. Say, this is my discovery. I did this and that. They're gonna take the credit for it. So on the outside, we're like, man, black people ain't doing nothing. You know, we got thousands of patents, man. It's never promoted. Like, you want to dominate people. You don't want to let it be known that they can be on par with you as a white person, a white collective. You know, you can say get over slavery, but that's a bad idea. You got to compensate people, then we can move towards getting over it. can't compensate everybody else for the misdeeds you did against them and then tell us when it's time for us to get something, we ask for handouts, we got to get over it. No, it don't work like that. But it works like that in the system where you want black people to be dominated, because this system, the way it's set up, democracy and all this stuff, it needs a dominated class of classes, levels, layers. The more layers that's blocking the access to the wealthy elites, the better. You know, you have white folks going around saying, yes, the wealthy elites. That's true, it is. But they use racism as another layer to keep the white folks who don't have what the wealthy elites have occupied. You get the punch on these black people. Even if these black people is mega millionaires and billionaires, you get the right of way of harming them. Well, some white people go to prison. Yes, some. If you want to keep the illusion going, you got to do like in the movie The Matrix. You got to have a control mechanism, man. You got to have some white people being punished every now and then for harming black people or non-white people. So the black masses will wake up, take the red pill. Like, it's right in your face, man. It's like it's right in our face. We see the racism. We see it because nobody want to talk about white people like that. You know, and on YouTube, you really want, in any social media platform, you really want to get promoted like that. Speaking what I'm speaking. That's why my views is not as high as they should. That's why you got Anton Daniels and a Drewski. These people is making major headways because they don't say the things that offends the broader white masses. The truth offends because a lot of white society is an illusion as well. You know, if you're born into a system, man, that's all you know. You don't really see it as a problem. You know, a little white child probably see it as a problem until they keep growing up and spend more years in the system. And it's just, oh, that's all I know. He's a black person. We're supposed to be in the media talking bad about him. It's the normal thing. See what I'm saying? So we got to deal with white people on an individual level. We don't attribute the whole white mass and say there's no white supremacy. Yeah, it is white supremacy, but we got to find white people who kind of like, in their own right, tune out of the system. You know, our Creator made us all, man. We still got to look at that fact. You get to the point where you hate white folks, but our Creator made them too. We're sexually, biologically compatible with each other. There's no strange anomalies on a general sense when procreating with each other. It's like it's easy peasy. Like if we was really so different, we wouldn't even be able to really procreate with each other like that. It'd be like too many complications. We're like, oh, maybe we ain't really supposed to be procreating with each other like that. No, it's easy peasy, man. You know, our Creator put us all down here, and human beings had the capability to adapt and change to our environment too, man. So that's what it is. The race thing is adaptation, basically, to our environment. Ain't nothing abnormal. You say the original black man and this and that. Probably. You know, maybe not. But we do know the original human being probably had melanin in their skin. You know. But then again, who's to say? You know. Yeah, we could have all been seeded across the planet. Different types. Maybe not. It just goes to show you how long we've been here. Somebody say, 10,000, 50,000. It had to be longer than that for all these changes to jump off. Back to Mr. Daniel. I try to give y'all some context about stuff. I don't think he get it, man. Some black people get it, some don't. Or they get it and they lie to themselves, man. They're living in an illusion. They accept the blue pill. So, man, it ain't no white supremacy. I got here on my own merit, this, that, and the third, because they to some degree they do look at white people. They tackle this system from an individual basis. But those people like Anton, Daniels, and Drewski, they get caught up because they meet so many individual white people that they think that there's not a system of white supremacy in play. And a lot of it is cleverly hidden. A lot of times black people don't even know they're being discriminated against, man. You know, fill out a job application. That's always a discriminatory factor in it. You fill out the job applications, important forms, they're still asking for race. That's racism. What you want to know my race for? So I can discriminate. Say DEI hire. You know, why you gotta have something like that? You know, try to make it even Steven or close to it, or give non-whites a fighting chance in the system that they know is rigged against us. You got a lot of white people who was even against that. You know, but really, man, the system of white supremacy is trying to help the ignorant white people out. Hey, don't y'all know this is a system we set up for y'all? Why y'all complaining about these DEI hires? You gotta give them something. Do you want them woke? You want a bunch of black people woke around you? You come around them, they close the door, close the window, shut the cupboard, hide, be secretive around you. You want to deal with them black people? So now let's hire some of these black people so they guard will be down, so they, you know, they won't be woke across the board. So that's the thing, man. Like, woke black people across the board, that'll dramatically alter white people's comfortable way of life. Comfort, as in what are you guys are used to, man. You know, if we all felt y'all was against us at all times, 24/7, without letting up, y'all wouldn't really be able to come around us, and we wouldn't really communicate with y'all from any neutral standpoint. We'll always be guarded. We'll always distrust you, and y'all would have to use the military at all times against us. See, this way, the military is just, you know, on standby. See, that's what Anton Daniels need to understand. I left some stuff on Twitter, man. You know, some people like to say, well, you know, they think they're bigger than people who don't have bigger platforms. But I gotta let people know, man. If he don't get it, somebody else will read it and get it, perhaps. You know, he said Corey was sucking the dick of black folks. And that's what you call that? That's a violation right there, man. What you mean, black folk? Ain't you black? Aren't you black? Like, what's going on? What's really going on out here, man? See, people get a little success, black folks, and they think because they didn't have too many pitfalls to stop them, they do their thing. Oh, ain't no racism. Yeah. See, that's how the system get y'all, man. It's gonna get you, Anton Daniels. He talk about he ain't been in prison, or he ain't been to jail or something. I've been to jail. Driver responsibility fees, I couldn't pay them off. I didn't have the money like that. Got caught driving on a suspended license. I went to jail I stayed home one day at school. I was like in the 11th grade or something like that. And I took my ass up to the gas station across the street from the school. And I got picked up by the cops, you know, for truancy, man. Like, me and a bunch of other folks got thrown in a wagon. Spent 3 hours in the jail cell. High school students. I just stayed home from school. You know, you feel like a grown man and you feel like a grown up when you're like in 11th or 12th grade. Like, man, I'm staying home from school. I'm still a minor. So I go, man, you get locked up for anything, man. Anton Daniels, for him to say that, and also say he don't know nobody who's been to jail or prison, that's a lie. Talking about he throwing up Detroit. I'm not originally from here, but I've been here since 1990, so I'm pretty much a Detroiter. Like you gonna know somebody who's been in prison or been in jail. If not your family members, you gonna know people you interacting with. The fact that he would say that kind of shows what kind of character he has. He's not being honest. Telling Corey Holcomb something like that, telling us that. you know, live broadcast saying stuff like that, man. What you mean you don't know nobody went to jail, man? Oh, you too good for that. See, man, you got black people out here, man. They don't even want to touch the white supremacist subject because they want to survive in the system, and that's understandable. But you gonna meet resistance from guys like me, women like, you know, women who talk what I'm talking about it, man, or against it. So it's like you got to deal with that too. And I guess that's the way it is, man. The yin and the yang. But Corey, I think he did the right thing. You got people commenting on his channel, 5150 channel on YouTube, talking about, you know, he was scared because he ain't going to back with Anton Daniels. Like, I was kind of hoping he wouldn't, man. Like, you know, something Corey say pissed me off, man. But that I'm like, man, don't hit this motherfucker, man. Like, cause that nigga, man, Corey be getting caught up, man. Like you can't be getting caught up fighting these dudes, man. You a celebrity. Well, you know, he probably got some pretty decent money, but still, man, you don't be blowing money, that kind of money like that, man. That's a lot of money you say you be blowing in court, man, with the Harry Spears thing, man. For him to just straight up smash on Anton Daniels, cause I saw it coming, man. I was like, man, he about to smash on this dude on live television, man. And Anton Daniels was kind of like, he was egging him on, man. I ain't saying Anton Daniels a pushover against a Corey Holcomb or something like that, but that dude, I can tell what kind of character he is, man. I've met Anton Daniels just living in Detroit, man. They don't see the racism because they choose not to see it. And a lot of my family members, like the men in my family on my mom's side, is kind of like that, like in Anton Daniels. You know, got that, you know, I'm educated. And I don't know if Anton Daniels got that kind of education, but like, man, you see it. You see the injustice, man. Don't try to lie to people, man. But yeah, man, I think Corey Holcomb was correct in how he dealt with him, and it was interesting that Craig Smith wasn't there. It would have been on and popping, man. It would have been a disaster for Corey Holcomb and Craig Smith. But then again, if Craig Smith was there, maybe he could have like buffered it down. But Corey, I think he handled it the way he's supposed to handle it. You tell a man go sucking black people's dicks and all that stuff. Like, you can get away with some of that stuff, man. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, I made prior videos, and you snapping on people, man. You don't know who you're dealing with, and not everybody's entitled to absorb your insults. So you got a lot of people liking Anton Daniels in Detroit. They like to argue and try to twist your words, and that's what he was trying to do to Corey. And Corey, he wasn't trying to hear none of that stuff. And you got Anton Daniels talking about what he ain't trying to hear. Like, man, that'll get you smashed on the worst, man. You disrespect somebody and then you start talking like, I ain't trying to hear nothing you talking about. Nigga, you about to get offed. Nigga, I'm about to pull something out and just blow your fucking head off, dog. Like, damn, nigga, do I gotta reach and just end you right here, nigga? What you mean you don't give a damn what I'm talking about? That's like the devil in people, man. The devil, he like, I want this motherfucker dead. Keep pushing buttons. It's like somebody say, hit me right here. Like, nigga, I'm gonna pull something out and jab your neck and walk away, nigga. And you You gonna be looking like, what's going on? Bleeding to death, nigga. About to pass out and die, nigga. Man, I ain't went to trucking school. Little nigga had a gun in trucking school. Nigga talking about I ain't trying to die here. I got a family, nigga. I ain't say shit. So I had mine in the car. I ain't carry mine on me like he did, but little dude, man, he wasn't little, but way younger than me. It's early 20s and shit. Like, nigga, people ain't playing with you, Anton Daniels, man. This Detroit stuff. You got dudes out here, man. You so used to carry. It's like, it's not like people be mesmerized like, ooh, you got a pistol. Man, if you ain't broke a pistol apart, upgraded it, like, man, it's just a tool. It ain't no magic wand. A gun doesn't do anything. It's the bullets, man. Without the bullets, there's no explosive projectile. It's a tool. You got people out here, man, they're not afraid of guns. If you deal with them, if you handle them and understand their function, what's really going on, it's not magic. It's just an explosion contained in the cartridge. And the barrel just aims that explosive projectile. It's like an arrow, high-powered arrow. That's how I really pretty much prefer, like, kind of refer to it, a high-powered arrow. You got dudes like Anton Daniels, man. He pushing people's buttons. And you got Detroit dudes like that still out of here, I'm presuming. But you got to be careful about that, man, because some people, man, they just take you out without even thinking, man. Like, you talking about a fair one come around the corner. Yeah, you can say that to a Corey Holcomb, man, but you say that to the right wrong dude. Get some chicks out here who'll get you too, man. I ain't talked to chicks. They ain't shot niggas in the ass for being too pushy trying to holler, man. Like how you gonna be from Detroit talking crazy to another man? You misrepresenting, man. That's why when I got up in age, man, it's automatic. You just stop talking about people, man. I ain't had some deadly encounters, man, just running my mouth in my youth. Talking about who ass I kicked. I got rolled up on by like 10 niggas deep. I was like, what, 16? Scared as hell. Just saying reckless shit. Because some dude said such and such, say he whoop your ass, and I said it back. We out here at the rallies, man, back in the day. Checkers used to be called rallies. He was just listening. That nigga jetted up, got in his car, skirted off, and I knew he was gonna come back. It was me, my brother, and some other folks we knew, man. And the dudes, who started, that nigga locked up, but them niggas came back deep as hell. I had to lie my ass off, hoping I wasn't gonna get fucked up. Them life lessons, man, you learn out here, man, just running your mouth. Ever since then, man, if I say something about somebody, it's gonna be neutral, or it's gonna be me giving them props. Ain't gonna be no, I whoop his ass, or, I don't like that nigga. I sound diplomatic as possible. I learned my lesson, man. Like, you have lessons like that. I guess Anton Daniels ain't learned a lesson like that. You talk about people, you get reckless, talking about what people ain't gonna do. Yeah, you can say that, but you're not gonna do. I'm a man. You gotta be careful, man. You never know who somebody know. You get away with it one day, they done already pointed you out, man. It's a lot of times, man, people you don't know, you have enemies that you don't know about. You gotta be careful out here, man. I made some mistakes. I still gotta be on the lookout for things I done done. That's how I go, man. And then those people don't mean just because you gotta watch them, they gotta watch people too. Everybody gotta watch each other, man. But I kind of feel Corey on that, sucking black people's dicks. Why would you use that kind of terminology? Anton Daniels, why would you live on there? Aren't you supposed to be a more sophisticated kind of dude, man? See, that's why I don't go around calling people brother and sister. That's not my lingo, man. I'm too self-conscious to just throw those terms out there, those words out there like that. You know, you gotta earn that, man. I never made a habit of saying my brother and sister. These sisters out here, these brothers out there, you gotta earn that. I guess that's what some black folks do out here, but I'm not one of them. You know, my antennas go up, brother. Really? You know. Man, but yeah, Anton Daniels, man, if this video get back to you, I'm in Detroit. And I don't like what you did. Just looking at how you conducted yourself, man. Like, to me, you a Sambo. Like, I'm conservative in some of my views. I'm not a Democrat. And if you've been following the FBA movement, you will see that a lot of black people whose ancestry goes to antebellum slavery in the U.S., we're not really Democrats no more. We're more so independent. Some of us are still Democrats. Some of us a lot of us are Republic now, or independent. I'm independent now. And we've been that way for a long time, several years now. Don't F with Barack Obama, Hussein and Obama, nor Kamala Harris. We don't rock with them. We ain't with them. You know, I don't agree with Corey say. He said voting is useless. You know, I agree with Anton. I agree with you when you say local. That is more of you can do something with your vote when you go local, because it's not too many people out here. You know, it's not like a nation. You know, you can vote for your city, for the mayor, whoever you want to get in, the city council members, commissioner or whatnot, commissioners. Detroit got a bunch of them. You can get them in. You know, I know one commissioner here. You know, he's not the commissioner no more, but you know, get like inside things about what's happening with the city, positive thing, negative thing, what to look out for. They can even influence them a little bit by giving your opinions about stuff. But yeah, man, that's my take on it pretty much, man. My take is, well, I'm staying, you know, I say Corey in this one is more right than wrong. You know, then towards the end, that's the end of the well, it wasn't really no end, it was just a conclusion to the discussion based on you and Todd Daniels trying to egg Corey on, man. I saw what you were doing. Everybody saw what you were doing. You know, you was trying to basically bait him into saying things against other folks and against Dave Chappelle and all that stuff. Yeah, Corey kind of, like, I used to be upset about a lot of things Corey said because he was a hypocrite about things. But here's the thing about that: he says that he is on those matters. He'll tell us he's biased about it. And it took me a while to kind of figure that out about the dude. Like, oh, he's admitting that he's a hypocrite. Now you can kind of take what he say and understand where he's coming from. He's biased. He's telling you he's biased towards certain things. It's like Candace Owens says she won't speak negative about Caribbean countries and Caribbeans. She let it be known that's her stance on it. So you can kind of take what they say not with a grain of salt. You can kind of filter out some of the stuff, the good from the bad. Nobody gonna be flawless, telling the truth all the time. You gotta filter out stuff what people say, and if people give you a heads up about who they are and where they stand on things, you filter out those things easier. Like, okay, he's gonna be biased in favor of Kevin Hart. Why? Because Kevin Hart helped him out. You know, stuff like that, man. That's what you got to filter out. You may not like some of the things Kevin Hart does, or, you know, Kevin Hart, for the most part, seemed like a decent dude, you know, but some people say, well, he's a gatekeeper. He's not that funny. See, Corey won't speak ill about Kevin Hart because Kevin Hart helped him out. So you can't expect him to say ill things about people like that. You know, he's a hypocrite because he has flame cross-dresser, transsexual on his show. Well, he gives the reasons why he respect the Flame, because, you know, Flame keeps it 100 about his sexuality and what he about, and he don't try to impose it on him, you know. But then she would say you're a hypocrite because he talk about homosexuality and other men in Hollywood. But he tell you why he don't accept that, because those men them names don't come out, man. They like to pretend. So there you have it. You know something about them. It makes sense to me. If you live in a lifestyle you're proud of or you're not ashamed of, you'll come out. But from another standpoint, you come out, you lose endorsements, and people look at you funny. It causes a lot of conflict. So on that stance, I kind of see why people would hide in the LGBT community. But here you go, Mr. Anton Daniels, man. You should know that about people, man. Like, are you 100% a non-hypocrite? No. Anytime you hide information, man, somebody can say you're a hypocrite. But you say that, hey, this is my livelihood at stake. Well, it doesn't change that. You hide information. But then you're saying one thing about this, against this information that you had, or you're trying to make it seem like that's not what you're about or what you're for. You know, it's a lot of nuances, man, to people, man. And I get what Corey was saying about you bringing. I already knew what it was before I even got to that point of the show. You know, because I went back and watched the recording. I just typed down, like, man, you talking about you bring a man. If a man brings a woman to you, he doesn't introduce this woman. You say that's a problem. Pretty much, he said a problem. But I already knew what he's talking about because I have dealt with that stuff on the street, man. If a dude come to you, man, with a woman, and he has introduced that woman, like, oh, this is my girl, such and such, and she just tagging along just with him, it's usually some BS gonna come from that dude, man. Like, why is this woman with him? Why is she there with him? Is she there to set you up or to help him lower your guard? Stuff like that, man. Like, stuff you learn by just living, man. That time Dave say he's in the street, man, but then he say things like he don't know nobody been to prison or jail, man. It kind of question. I'm not a street dude, but I hung with street dudes, and I hung out in the street, man. I ain't been in all kind of grimy spots in Detroit back in the day. Ain't sell not one bag of weed, no bag of nothing. Didn't smoke nothing. That's what happened when you're low income motherfucker. You hang in low income situations with people, dog. That's what you got out here. If you a low income dude, woman, you gonna be in some hood shit. That's just the way it is, man. You gonna be in a crack house, you know, not giving a damn you can be ran up on and shot up. I used to hang in spots like that way before I had a CPL. Taking chances, man. Going to sleep on in stages and biker clubs. Going to after hours. I paid a few times with some ass when I was young, in my early 20s. I didn't really have no game like that, and I was a bigger dude. You know what I'm saying? Much bigger dude. I didn't believe in myself. That's what happened. When you're young, you don't really have no game to really, You know, the streets ain't gonna really teach you no game. Some people learn, but I'm that type of dude. You can't criticize me about women, and I get it. I'm not gonna get it that way. I got to experiment and do things on my own. That's why when I stopped hanging with certain dudes, like my game pretty much came overnight. It's like trial and error, man. You start, you know, you don't get no negative feedback. You don't get teased, and you know, because when it comes to women, man, you need a soft touch, man. A lot of times, even if you're dealing with some hood rats, or you can't be too masculine, man. That's why a lot of dudes get caught up. You know, don't hang around enough women and deal with them on a personal level. Dudes get caught up, you know, being too aggressive when it comes to sex and all that, dealing with women. You gotta learn to have sexual control, and you learn that by dealing with enough women. You gotta take baby steps. You gotta deal with all kinds of women, man. You can't I just want the bad ones, the cutest ones. And your taste as a man start changing as you go up in age anyway. So that's another story right there. But yeah, man, you out in these streets, you gonna learn something. I can't see how you ain't learn, you know, what you need to learn, Mr. Anton Daniels, man. You don't have to be submerged in criminal activity to be street smart. Actually, being street smart means you avoid a lot of things in the street. But at the same time, man, you still gotta be in the streets to a degree if you really talking about you that dude, but it's not something you gonna force yourself to be around. It's just what happens. You know. Yeah, man, that's my 2 cents on it. Quarters on it. To be continued.